Welcome to another edition of the channel's Mailbag. So what is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is the part of the channel that you guys actually control. It's based on comments, questions, general feedback that you guys leave either on the YouTube channel, the website, or through one of my social media feeds. Mailbag contains what I think the answer is, what I think my view of the comment is, or sometimes, I just throw it out to the wider audience and say, what do you guys think? That's what Mailbag is. So let's get in to the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next question comes from Jumping Man. And this one is in response to what do we know about the Behringer JT16, a SMR I did in April 2025. And Jumping Man writes, many music companies go to these types of shows with non-working units to be released as early. The units effectively are early type prototypes in order to sort of generate the buzz, interest, and sort of show people what is going to be released. The internet Muppets will say Behringer teases and releases nothing, when in fact they are one of the companies with the most releases every single year for the last few years, if not the company with the most releases. And it's not just synths, it's a lot of other equipment as well. And that's true. If you go and look at the Behringer and all the Behringer sister companies, there is a lot of stuff they're releasing on a fairly regular basis. In terms of the actual Behringer line, you've got drum machines, you've got synthesizers, you've got modular units, then you've got audio signal path routing, you've got mixing desks. There's a hell of a lot of stuff that this company pushes out to market. Anyway, obviously they will want to milk the living SHIT out of what they release, especially when it comes to their poly synths. And obviously Behringer is going after a universal new industry way of mass producing synths. It's cost effective, faster and better. No surprises there. And this is kind of the Behringer raison d'etre, is produce them cheap, sell them cheap and make money. And I can't really add to any of those comments, if I'm brutally honest. They were good comments from somebody who actually, like me, thinks that that's the Behringer business model, and the soothsayer and the naysayers are just saying it because, well, I don't know why they're saying it, to be honest, because they keep saying it and Behringer keep proving them wrong. Next one comes from Jonas, and this is in response to Roland MKS-20, What's Inside the Box, a video I did in February 2018. And Jonas writes, I've been told the audio in-out board is a common fail on them. I'm tempted to buy one, but they still make quite a bit of money, and considering there are some VSTs out there that are pretty close to the sound, which I have, I'm not sure buying an old unit that could go faulty is worth the risk. Interested about the battery. What happens if that goes flat? Does it just store user data, or would you lose all the sounds? Now, I've got to be honest, and this is the thing, right? If you're going to go and buy, say, an old synthesizer, and actually looking to this side, the bit you can see on screen, these are all relatively new synthesizers, whereas the bit you can't see on screen, which is over there, they're quite old synthesizers. So, but the point is, if you're going to go and buy an old synthesizer, a tone module, or an effects unit, and yes, Roland's MKS-20s do carry a premium as they're quite unique, that many artists migrated to the RD-1000 sounds, which is what effectively the MKS-20 is, in the 80s. So, but many artists used the MKS-20 because they didn't have room for a full-blown RD-1000, RD-2000 at the time, because they were, I mean, they're big beasties. The RD-1000, it's a very big beastie. It's kind of like a Korg Oasis or a T1 or an A80. It's a big, imposing 88 key keyboard. But they didn't have that, so they went for the tone module instead. Now, regarding, but the reality is, if you're going to go and buy an old synthesizer, you've got to be prepared that you're going to have to put time and effort into maintaining the damn thing. They're not, you don't buy a legacy synthesizer and not expect it to go wrong at some point. And they can go drastically wrong. Everybody always says, what's your pet hate? And I always say my S50. My S50 it's been a labour of love to get it back to operational working, but it's been an absolute pain in the bum, that particular keyboard. Anyway, regarding the battery, the core tones on the MKS-20 are stored in ROM. So following a battery change, these will still exist. However, you can subtly change those tones using the controls on the front. You can't do an awful lot with them, but you can subtly manipulate those tones. And you can then store those into the user presets. Now, unless you've backed up those user presets, you change the battery, guess what? They're gone. So, the bottom line is, no, you don't lose the factory sounds. You can reload those relatively quickly from the internal ROM, but yes, you do lose any user presets. So that's kind of the deal with the MKS-20 and the battery.